Welcome to the Breakthrough Podcast with your host, Reba, a podcast motivated to help survivors of trauma heal and focus on their full potential.
Welcome back to another edition of the Breakthrough Podcast. Of course, I am your host, Reba, and so first of all, Happy New Year. I don't know, that is really in there, but whatever. Happy New Year, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed my last episode before the new year, about me reflecting of the new year, things I need to do this year, and pretty much everything that's going on this year. It's gonna be a tough one because this year is more about transparency, and this year is also about me doing things for myself, responding for myself, and also just listening and waiting on God to do a new thing. Now, I am at home today because I'm at home early because usually I record from home, but I usually record after I get off work. I'm at home today because my daughter was sick yesterday, and so I had to rush her to urgent care, and they said she had to be out today. It's this little germ bug that's going around. I hope you guys all safe. My son, he was sick 5 days before Christmas, all the way up until Christmas, and that was just horrible. He was really sick. She's not as sick, but she got a little bug or whatever, so they want to keep her out. That's fine. I decided to record today. I usually record on Thursdays, but it's fine. And then I'm trying to work on getting lighting or whatever for my camera and everything else. So I have to record at the kind of earliest time or the right before the sun go down or whatever. So this is the natural light that I'm trying to get. And so that's the reason why. With all that being said, let me see, before I get into the podcast, it was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, California. Oh, Lord. California, Texas, and Georgia right now. Georgia is experiencing snow. They never experienced snow before, so pray for the people there. They never experienced snow in a long time. They don't experience snow. It's just like Texas. Texas, as you guys know, is my favorite place in the whole wide world. I plan on moving there when my son graduates from high school. So that would be great if it snowed. But whatever, I love snow. But I want to move to Texas. Praying for Texas because Texas is getting a lot of snow. They don't supposed to get snow. They're not fit to made for snow like Georgia. And of course, we all know about California, the wildfires. Now, guys, my heart goes out to California specifically only because I think we all, with the weather being what it is, and I was telling a coworker yesterday, I think we are ungrateful sometimes because we'll wake up and be like, oh, it's cold outside, or why I still live here in this state, or whatever. You have the chance and the choice to move. You want to move to another state. That's not the point. The point is the states that people are with their homes, losing family members, losing their homes, losing clothes, losing, businesses and everything else. They're really going through something right now. And so the whole point, I'm praying for California. And I woke up yesterday morning like with a grateful heart because I think we sometimes wake up and be ungrateful. I'm not looking outside worrying about a fire. The weather is what it is right now. It's cold. That's what it's supposed to be around January. I get to go to my job and come home with my kids every day. I don't, have to worry about losing my home. So I'm just grateful to God that each and every day that we're not going through that. But at the same time, I am still praying. I know personal people that live in California right now that is going through it. So I'm praying for the family members and friends, people that I don't know. I wish, honestly, I can fly on a plane, get there and help and be a help because as you guys know, that's just who I am. So pray for California, guys, because, I tell people all the time that, God is revealing himself slowly. And so I'm not going to go on that whole bandwidth with everything. But As you know, I believe in Jesus Christ and I believe in God. And so I believe in reading the Bible, and the book of Revelation talks about all this and the season and everything else. So I think this year, personally for me, this year, my focus is on just hearing from God and what God wants me to do with my relationship with Him. If every day I wake up, some days are worse than others, only because I'm going through something personal right now that God is breaking me and break some things off of me right now in my personal life. And so I think as a mother, and as a wife, and as just a woman of God, when we go through stuff as a Christian, number one, when we go through stuff in our personal lives, I think it affects everything, and everything is a ripple effect. Just the same way with the wildfires, it's a ripple effect because it's going to affect us. It's going to affect insurance. It's going to affect gas. It's going to affect a lot of things that we think it wouldn't affect in our lives, in our personal lives. It's a ripple effect. So the devastation of the rebuilding and things, everything else, and stopping the wildfires and praying that they get rain, please, in the next couple of days and stuff like that, and stopping it and undergoing everything. I think sometimes we lose the sight of God and what's happening. And I know personally for me, I've done that. I think with this personal story right now, what I'm going through, I think God is shredding me to pieces right now. And I say that with a full heart because there are things that is in me that I haven't forgiven myself for the past. It has nothing to do with currently, childhood, trauma, stuff like that. And as you know, I help people heal from childhood trauma and domestic violence. I'm a survivor of domestic violence and everything else. But I think when we actually go into the part of healing and the process of healing, and really, God is straightening me. God is breaking some things out of me, things that I haven't forgiven myself for, but also things that I think I've beat myself up for more than what I should. And He forgave me for them in the past, so it's just like you got to forgive yourself. Also, forgiving others unconditionally, because I was talking to my best friend, and she was just like, "You forget a lot of stuff." And she said it in a way where it wasn't bad, but she was basically saying, because I'm a forgiving person, I just forget what people have done to me. And I'll be like, okay. So then when it happens like a second or third time, it's like, oh, they did do that before. And she's like, you should forget. And I'm like, I think that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to forget. But the hardest thing for me is to forget what I've done to myself. So it's a little more difficult when I feel like God is pretty much saying, forgive yourself and let's move forward. It's hard. So that's what I'm working on. So what I did and I decided to do this year is just focus on me and what I need to heal. Not nobody else, but what I need to heal. My forgiveness to other people, my forgiveness to myself. I also decided to do something personal with other people. I believe in giving people their flowers there when they are needed, right? So when I say that, over the years I've thought about everything I've been through, every trial, every testimony, every tribulation. But I also thought about all the people that have helped me overcome certain things that I know that God sent in my life that I couldn't overcome myself. And when I thought about it, I said, sometimes I think we think that we're an island and we're just a man by ourselves, but you honestly wouldn't be where you are. And I want you to take this moment to think, who helped you to get to where you are? That God placed, because it's always God first. Let's just say that. But that God placed in your life to help you be the better woman of God. And there's so many people. There's so many people. Some people I talk to, some people I don't talk to. So I decided to do these thank you letters and these thank you messages to people that I know personally helped me get to where I'm at. And that doesn't mean where I'm at like I accomplished something so great, which that's nothing. My therapist told me stop saying that the small things you accomplish are not big things. But I'm talking about celebrating myself in the small things and in the big things. And I don't celebrate myself in the small things. I'm like, oh, I didn't do nothing. Well, yeah, going and writing books. A lot of people tell me that's a big accomplishment. Writing books, still writing books, um, being a life coach, helping people change their lives. Those are not small things to other people. To me, they small because what I see myself, what God may see me, is bigger. And so it might be big to God, but it's small to me. I'll just say that. But I do have to acknowledge the things that I've done. I also have to acknowledge the people that encouraged me. My spiritual father, my mother-in-law, the people that encouraged me over the years. My son's grandmother. Oh my God, my son's grandmother, great grandmother. Rest in peace to his great grandmother. Have been there for me all my life. Like since I've been a part of their life since I was 22, and I'm 41. So yeah, it's crazy. But the encouragement of the Burks family and them loving on me. And then, my ex-husband's family, they just went through a death in their family with my ex-mother-in-law, her mother. And so she been a matriarch of the family and she taking care of everything. And so I remember when my grandmother died, they was there for me. She was personally there for me. And so I had to be there for them. It's just like certain people you just never forget. My kids' godparents, they live in Tennessee right now, but they are a big part of why I'm the woman I am now, because they encouraged me when I wanted to give up on myself. So those are some people I'm naming or whatever that have encouraged me and that have been there for me, and they're not passed away, because we're watching people every day pass away and it's so sad. But you want people to feel that love while they are here, and I'm a big person of giving people their flowers while they're here. So I'm going to do that. I've been doing it lately a little bit, like message my aunt. Me and my aunt is really, really close. She knows some personal things I'm going through. And so she's really, really close with me. She's like a second mom to my mom because they're best friends. But she's always been everything I say I'm doing something, she supported. It don't matter if I graduate from college. It doesn't matter what prom. She supports it. So she's a big support system for me. So probably a couple months ago, I sent her a text message telling her thank you for over the years of being like a mother, a second mother to me. She doesn't replace my mom, but she has always been a second mother to me. So I just believe in letting people know. Because also, as I'm going through what I'm going through with God, and God is revealing some things to me in the year 2025, and he's taking me to another level, and he's actually elevating me, but he actually elevated me to a point where I think this one hurts a little bit more than anything else, because where I want to go, he got to break some things off of me that is still a part of me. And I want to take my kids, and when I see me and my husband in the future, he got to break some things off of me. It don't mean that just start with me, but it does start with me, because I have to do what I have to do on my part. Man, if I could tell you, it's going to be a testimony. But the part I can tell you, and I pause my music because the commercial is about to come on. I have been reading this book before the new year. Okay, I'm like right there in the middle, wherever you see that little thing. Okay, so this book is called "Forgiving What You Can't Forget." It is deep. It's so deep that some books, you ever realize a book is so deep you have to put it down, because it's just like, oh my God. Oh my God. I feel like they're talking to me, and like this woman, who wrote this book, literally, I feel like she's me. I feel like everything that I'm going through right now is me. And so I'm reading this book, which is helping me so much on these letters. So what I decided to do is after I went through the Christmas thing with Love McPherson, she's a life coach and a therapist, and she's a relationship expert, put it like that. I went to one of her events. I've been knowing her for years in Chicago. And so I went to her one of her events in December, a Christmas event, and she was giving out books. Well, I got one of her books called Notes to Self. And this book is pretty much self-explanatory, talking back to your inner self, telling your inner self, talking back, notes to self, 250 notes to self. And it's pretty much, it's helping you understand who you are, but on a more positive note to say, okay, I forgive myself. I will not accept and what you won't accept. It actually helps you set boundaries. So I think a lot of people have a lot of problems with setting boundaries in relationships and friendships. And so I think this book is a big help. But it also gave me the idea to do this podcast on notes to myself, notes to forgive myself, notes to my childhood self, notes to my mother's, the mother I am self, notes to the wife I am self, the notes to the Reba, the whole being a Reba, the Christian woman. So I think during this whole month, I'm going to give you a notes to self. And if it leads into February, that's fine, because that's love month for me. And that's also the month I got engaged. So it's a love month. So I might do a love note to myself. I don't know yet. But I know January, for the month of January, I will be doing personal notes to myself and reading them on here, because I wrote them in the book. And I'll be reading them on here for you to understand. And hopefully it helps you, like it's helping me, to understand more about myself. I tell you, in this breaking point, in this breaking season that God is breaking me, I probably cried every day. I think I cry every day. I think I cry every day because I'm still breaking off things that I've been like, oh, why did that have to happen that way? Oh, why did I have to do it that way? Or why did this have to happen that way? I think my breaking moments, I have ups and downs like roller coaster. Sometimes I get happy in the thoughts and I'll be like, okay, what are you learning from that? Then other times I'm like, oh my God, really? And I have like a whole grieving, crying moment. And I think both of them are natural and both of them are necessary. Because I feel like when we stop ourselves, you ever had that feeling you try to stop yourself from crying? Because you're like, I just don't want to feel it. When you do that, I think that's when you bottle in a lot of things. And when I know, for me, if I don't cry, I get sick internally. Like I would literally start feeling nauseated. I would start feeling like I got to throw up because I won't cry. I just try to be so strong for myself, right? And I think crying, I think you sometimes when you hurting, you get tired of crying, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it also, if it needs to come out, it needs to come out. It is so much healing in crying. So I like that I'm taking this time for myself in 2025 to understand and learn where God is taking me, where God is. I like it, but I don't. I'll say that because, like, perfect example. Right now, I'm fasting. I'm fasting for something very specific, and it's like specific. I hate puh, but anyway, specific. I'm fasting for something specific in my life, and it's just like I want to give up. And I think I'm on day 5. I think I started Sunday. Then the new year. My church fast every year for 21 days, and I do it every year. And so this year, I was just like, oh, great, perfect. And I was so excited about it. And I'm like, day 5. I wake up this morning like, yeah, this fasting thing ain't gonna work. I might as well give up. But I think the closer you are, the closer you are, the closer you are. And I fast for revelation. The closer you are to hearing from God, the more you want to break. And so, as I'm doing this, I ask you guys who all believe in prayer, that's fine. Pray for me. Because This podcast this year is very transparent. And the people that ain't listening, they ain't listening. You want to know something about me? It's going to be on this podcast. I'm trying to fix this camera a little bit. So it's very transparent. And so as I'm going through this transparent moments and I'm going through hurt and overcoming some things and forgiveness and a lot of stuff with friends and family, a lot of stuff healing. I just need God to reveal things to me, and that's why I'm fasting. It ain't been easy. And I'm going to tell you that a fast is not supposed to be easy, evidently. And so when I say I'm fasting, this is dedication. I was reading a note that I wrote back to my husband in my phone, like when we was dating, and I was encouraging him. And sometimes, one day I told him, I don't know, I can't remember what the note was about because it was screenshotted. At the top was cut off, but the reading what it said to him is, I was telling him what discipline is, and don't see yourself like you see yourself like God sees you, right? And I was basically telling him I believe in him. I was encouraging him. I was, telling him everything that you want to do for yourself, just, take it one day at a time and think about what you have to do. And I was like kind of giving him a scenario, something like that, to that point. You can do this and you can encourage yourself to do this. Don't look at where you at right now. Look at what your future is. And sometimes I think it's so much easier, and everybody knows this, to give yourself the advice that you give somebody else the advice you can't even give yourself. Because it was so funny that text message came up. I was looking for something in my pictures, and that came up. And it was kind of like a reminder to myself that you're not where you want to be completely yet, but God got you in this place for a reason. And so if God got you in this place for a reason, stay there and wait. The waiting is the hard part. The waiting is the biggest hard part for me, only because I want stuff in my life to be fixed right now. And I think we all do that. And I'm impatient. And me and my son was talking about something personal the other day, and he texted me after he got the car, and it was such a beautiful text. It said, I think when you told God you wanted to work on patience, he wasn't going to give it to you easily. And I was like, I read that text like, okay, checkmate. And I just texted him and said, you are such a great son. Thank you, son. But my son, even knowing that what I'm trying to work on with my patience, I told him I'm trying to work on patience, having patience with other people, letting people be who they are, and not just trying to help people so much, because I'm such a helper where I want to help everybody change their life. Like any problem, I want to help it. But sometimes you gotta let people be who they are and let God change them in their time and not yours. So that meant a lot to me. So with that being said, I'm gonna go into, because this is cut into two parts. Hopefully the first part is on here. I'm gonna go into the letter that I wrote to myself, and I'm gonna read it for you guys, and then that'll be it. So the note that I wrote to myself is about me being a mother. And it states, Dear Reba, you are an amazing mother. I forgive you for the mistakes you made with relationships and friendships as a mother. Reba, your children love you unconditionally, and as long as you keep showing them accountability and forgiveness, you will be fine. Your children belong to God. They will be yours forever, and your gifts of transparency and commitment. Forgive yourself as a parent, because I forgive you. That is my letter to myself as a mother. It was just general. I think the letter's going to get deeper and deeper as I do this, but I like that I got this idea of letters to yourself. If you need to write a letter to yourself or somebody else, y'all know I believe in writing, journaling, anything else. I have so many notes in my phone. I think I'm going to turn this into a book, but If you believe in journaling, writing, or whatever, write a note to yourself, or write a note to somebody you want to forgive, or write a note to, I tell people this all the time, I tell my students this, when you want to forgive somebody, write a letter and tear it up, keep it, burn it. You can do whatever you want to do with it, but get it out your system, and I promise you it's going to be healing. So that was my note to myself as a mother. Hopefully, I see you guys back next week on the Breakthrough Podcast. I thank you for listening. Happy New Year. Let's continue to pray for California right now. Keep your prayers for Texas and Atlanta too. All the states that's getting weather that don't get the weather that that they're supposed to get, and the wildfires and everything else. So let's just keep everyone in our prayers. And I'll see you guys back next week on the Breakthrough Podcast. Thanks.